Shocked, Jungkook returns to Seoul. The global drama that fans can't stop talking about. The silence was shattered in an instant. Without warning, without prelude, Jungkook's sudden return to Seoul became the epicenter of an unfolding storm that has left millions of fans questioning not only the reason behind his move, but also the timing that feels almost too deliberate to ignore. Why did it happen now, and why in this exact manner? These are the questions echoing across every corner of the global fan community, transforming what should have been a private journey into a spectacle of international drama. The shock began the moment reports surfaced. Jungkook, the figure who rarely allows his movements to be seen so openly, had returned to Seoul. Not through an ordinary schedule, not through a widely announced event, but in a manner so abrupt that it resembled a carefully constructed mystery. Within hours, social media exploded, discussions erupted in multiple languages, and speculation reached heights rarely seen before. Fans were not only surprised, they were unsettled, and that unease has not subsided since the center of the drama lies a single fact. Jungkook's return was unexpected. It arrived without official explanation, without a clear narrative, and without the controlled communication that usually surrounds high-profile figures of his stature. Instead, it spread like wildfire, unfiltered and uncontained, leaving audiences to piece together fragments of truth. And in the absence of clarity, speculation thrives. Was this a personal decision, a professional maneuver, or something deeper that has yet to be revealed? Observers note that the atmosphere surrounding his arrival feels loaded with symbolism. Seoul, his home and his anchor, is not just another destination. The decision to return there, especially under such sudden circumstances, inevitably triggers questions about what this means for his career, his relationships, and even the future trajectory of his presence in the global entertainment landscape. To dismiss it as a routine move would be to ignore the immense weight of context pressing down on the moment. The reaction has been visceral. For many fans, the word shocked does not even capture the full scope of their emotions. Some describe it as betrayal, others as relief, and many as confusion. It is this confusion that feeds the drama, for the absence of a definitive explanation forces people into a realm of endless theories. Did something happen behind the scenes? Is there a message being sent through silence? Or is the absence of answers itself the most powerful statement of all? The intensity of the global discussion proves that this event is no ordinary return. Fans across continents are dissecting every detail: the timing of his flight, the expression on his face, the lack of an accompanying entourage, the subtle gestures captured in blurred photos and shaky videos. In an era where every second of celebrity life is scrutinized, even the smallest detail becomes ammunition for speculation. And this time, the details feel too precise, too carefully aligned, as though every element carries meaning waiting to be decoded. What makes this situation even more gripping is the emotional weight it places on the audience. The global drama is not only about Jungkook's return. It is about how the return reflects the fragile relationship between public figures and the fans who invest their emotions so deeply in them. The sense of shock is amplified because fans were caught unprepared, left to reconcile their expectations with the reality that came crashing down without warning. This emotional fracture is what makes the discussion so unstoppable, so relentless. The narrative that surrounds Jungkook now is not static. It is fluid, evolving in real time. Every comment, every tweet, every whispered speculation adds another layer to the drama, building an atmosphere where truth and rumor blur into one. The fact that so many cannot stop talking about it proves its magnetism. Silence has become impossible because silence feels like surrender, and fans refuse to surrender their need for understanding. Yet perhaps the most haunting question remains unanswered. What comes next? A return to Seoul may seem like a simple action, but in the world of high-stakes entertainment, nothing is ever simple. Could this signify a turning point? Is it the start of a larger story that has yet to fully emerge? Or is it a carefully orchestrated maneuver designed to ignite precisely the kind of global storm that we are witnessing right now? For now, the world waits, holding its breath in collective tension. The drama is no longer confined to the moment of his return. It has expanded into a phenomenon, a test of how far curiosity and speculation can carry a single event. Jungkook's name has become a headline not only in music but in culture, in emotion, in the fragile balance between public expectation and private reality. And so the question is posed to every fan, every observer, every person who has felt the ripple of this shocking return. Do you truly believe that what you are seeing is the complete story? Or is there something hidden beneath the surface, something larger that waits to reveal itself when the world is least prepared? Until that answer comes, the drama will not fade. It will continue to build, feeding on the endless cycle of discussion, disbelief, and demand for clarity. Jungkook has returned to Seoul, but the real question is, has the storm only just begun? The magnitude of this event cannot be underestimated. When a single move, one person boarding a flight, one arrival at an airport, manages to dominate the conversation of millions, it speaks to more than just celebrity fascination. It reflects the power of cultural symbols, the fragile emotional contracts that fans forge with their idols, and the deep uncertainty that arises when those symbols act in ways that feel unpredictable. Jungkook's return to Seoul, in its raw and unmediated form, embodies this complexity. Observers are struck by the fact that the return did not come with the familiar markers of publicity. There was no grand announcement, no carefully staged photo opportunity, no reassurance that this was part of a broader plan. Instead, the moment arrived almost uninvited, catching both the media and the fans in a rare state of unpreparedness. And in this unpreparedness lies the foundation of the global drama. People are left to imagine what they cannot see, and imagination is far more powerful than certainty. The emotional spectrum has been wide and intense. For some, the shock is experienced as anxiety, a gnawing sense that something is not right. For others, it is excitement, the thrill of being part of a live unfolding mystery. And for many, it is confusion, a disorienting sense of being left behind by events they believed they understood. What unites all of these responses is the inability to look away. Even those who claim indifference are drawn back into the conversation, compelled to ask again. Why now? Why like this? In an age where narratives are carefully manufactured, the rawness of this event feels almost revolutionary. It breaks the pattern of predictability that usually surrounds global figures. Every step, every move is typically choreographed, designed to maximize impact while minimizing chaos. Yet this time, chaos took center stage. The lack of explanation became its own form of explanation. The absence of clarity became the loudest message of all speculation has thus filled the void. Some argue that this was a personal choice, perhaps driven by exhaustion, longing, or a need to reconnect with something familiar. Others believe it is strategic, a move designed to shift attention, reset the narrative, or prepare for an announcement yet to come. And still others whisper of deeper, more hidden motives, motives that might never be revealed but that feed the sense of drama surrounding the return. The international dimension of the reaction is striking. From Seoul to New York, from Tokyo to Sao Paulo, fans are united in a shared storm of uncertainty. Different cultures interpret the return differently. Some see it as symbolic of homecoming, others as a sign of retreat, and still others as the precursor to transformation. Yet all interpretations converge on one point: this was not ordinary. It was extraordinary in its simplicity, extraordinary in its timing, extraordinary in its impact. Media outlets, both traditional and digital, have struggled to keep pace with the speed of the discussion. Articles are written, videos are produced, live streams run for hours, yet none can fully capture the restless energy of the audience. Every attempt to define what happened only seems to deepen the mystery, as though the truth is not in the facts themselves but in the endless speculation they generate. The story has outgrown the event, becoming a cultural phenomenon in its own right. Perhaps the most powerful element of this drama is the tension between presence and absence. Jungkook is present in Seoul, physically there, yet absent in explanation. Fans feel both closer and more distant than ever before. This paradox is what sustains the drama. It is not only about what has happened, but about what remains unsaid, unseen, unresolved. Until that tension is broken, the storm will continue to rage. The return to Seoul is also being framed as a moment of reckoning. It forces fans and observers to confront their expectations, to examine why a simple return home can feel like an earthquake in the cultural landscape. Is it because they have invested too much in his narrative? Or is it because the narrative itself has always been more fragile than they wanted to admit? These are not easy questions, yet they are unavoidable in the wake of such a shocking event. The longer the silence continues, the more dangerous it becomes. Silence fuels speculation, and speculation knows no boundaries. Already, theories have spiraled into unexpected territories, touching on personal life, professional strategy, and even symbolic meaning that stretches far beyond entertainment. Each new theory adds another layer of drama, making it harder and harder to separate truth from invention. But maybe that is the point. Maybe the power of this return lies not in what it reveals but in what it conceals. By refusing to fit neatly into the expectations of fans and media, the moment asserts its own dominance. It becomes unforgettable precisely because it is unresolved. And in that unresolved state, it continues to capture attention, demanding endless discussion and refusing to fade quietly into the background, so we are left with a haunting series of questions. What is really happening behind the closed doors of Seoul? Is this the beginning of a transformation, a fracture, or a renewal? And most importantly, why does it feel as though the world itself has shifted simply because one person returned home? These questions are not just about Jungkook, they are about us, about the way we attach meaning to the movements of those we admire, and about the fragility of certainty in a world built on constant exposure. Until clarity comes, if it ever comes, one thing is undeniable. Jungkook's return to Seoul has become more than just a journey. It has become a global drama, a test of patience, a mirror reflecting both the power and the vulnerability of modern celebrity culture. The shock was immediate, but the aftershocks are only just beginning, and no one knows how far they will reach. If the initial shock of Jungkook's return was a sudden wave, what follows now is a relentless tide that refuses to retreat. The story has extended far beyond its original frame, evolving into a kind of global obsession where every detail, every fragment, every silence is dissected endlessly. The return to Seoul is no longer a mere movement from one place to another. It has been transformed into a stage upon which millions project their expectations, fears, and interpretations. The psychology of this moment is worth examining. Fans do not merely consume news about Jungkook. They live it, breathe it, and embed it into their own narratives of meaning. To them, his sudden presence in Seoul represents more than geography. It signifies intimacy, vulnerability, perhaps even defiance. Why? Because the action was stripped of the usual framing that tells people how to feel. Instead, they were left with raw footage, unpolished glimpses, and the haunting weight of their own interpretations. This psychological intensity explains why the global drama has refused to fade. A conventional explanation could have smoothed the edges, provided closure, allowed people to move on. But in its absence, the return became infinite, an endless loop of speculation where every conclusion only leads to more questions. This cycle of questioning, in turn, fuels the drama, ensuring that Jungkook's return to Seoul remains one of the most discussed phenomena in recent memory. What makes this drama even more powerful is the contrast it presents. On one hand, the act itself is simple, an individual traveling home.